Yo, you already know what time it is, man. Kfrog TV, you feel me? But anyways, this one right here, this is when I got to Charlotte, aka the jungle. Y'all know last time I was telling y'all I went through Calhoun, back through all the reception centers and all that shit like that. But this is when I actually landed in the jungle. Alright? So let me pick back up where I left off at. I know I told y'all that I had landed there and we were walking to our dorms or whatnot. And I landed in E-dorm, which was a butterfly building. And there was a bunch of dudes with me that was talking and shit due to the scenery on the pound. Like the nice birds and the pretty plants and shit like that. They're all screaming, oh, it's a myth, man. I knew this shit wasn't what everyone say it is. I knew this shit wasn't what everybody say it is. But I'm here to tell you that it was what everybody here to say it is. And I know there's no way in hell there's that many myths about this one place. So we get to our dorm or whatever. Boom, like I said, I got put in E-dorm. Soon as I walk in, I'm supposed to be staying on the top tier. As soon as I walk in, I got my shit, all my property. When I walk in, I look up, and my cell's the one cell that's halfway closed with a curtain up. So in my eyes, I'm like, damn, my bunkie taking a shit, or he could be in there gunning or whatever it could be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna disrespect the man right now while you're doing that. I'm gonna give him some time, probably like 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna go knock on the door or whatever. Because at Charlotte, the doors are roll doors. Some camps you go to, they mandatory lock them back. Like, they'll pop them first thing in the morning, and then an officer will come through and grab it and slam them to where they're stuck open. So you can't bam the door and go in there and kill someone. Instead, they lock them open, so that way it's open the whole day. But at Charlotte, they didn't give a fuck. So when I was there, the door was like this, and it had a curtain over it. The curtain was made out of a piece of a poncho that you can order on packages and shit in canteen. It was made out of a piece of a poncho and a toothbrush. It was wedged into the window to hold it up. So about 10 minutes, 15 minutes go by. I grab all my property. I go and I sit down right there in front of the TV. I'm looking up at the TV like this or whatnot, whatever. But you could see my door at the same time. So I'm waiting to see if it budges, like if anyone comes to the door or if he's done. So about 15, 20 minutes, I get up. I go up there, I knock on the door, boom, boom, boom. I say, yo, he's like, what's up, bro? I say, hey, bro, that's my room, you feel me? He like, oh, all right, give me a minute, bro. So I'm like, all right, boom. You feel me? That's his house so far. I just got here. I ain't finna, you feel me? So I walk back down there, I sit in front of the TV. I'm sitting there, about a minute or two go by. I look up and I see the curtain open, and then someone looked, and I looked at him. And then they close the curtain again. Next thing you know, the door opens up. They take the curtain down. So I'm like, oh, all right, boom. I get up. I walk up there. Like I said, I respected the man due to the fact that he could have been taking a shit or he could have been gunning, And for those that have been to prison know when someone is gunning or someone is trying to, like, look at a female officer or whatever it might be, they literally take it like you cock blocking a female on them. Like, if you interrupt them gunning, them boys literally take it like you cock blocking. So I let him do his thing or whatever. He ain't gonna stop no one from gunning, whatever. So as long as you ain't gunning in the room with me in the room, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna never stop your bunkie from gunning. So long story short, next thing you know, he opened the door, I go up there, boom, and I walk in. It's the biggest nigga in the quad, So I'm looking at him like, dang, he pretty big, I'm saying? I'm talking about like you see, like, he was like 6 foot something, big bald head, just like a big, not all muscle, but he was like, he had a keg, like he was big as fuck. So in my eyes, I'm like, damn, I would get the biggest nigga in the quad as a bunkie. So I walk in there or whatever, and come to find out, he wasn't taking a shit or gunning. He was on the jack. So I'm sitting there like, okay, boom. So my bunkie wasn't there at the time. Come to find out, he wasn't my bunkie. He was just using our cell. Because, which I found out when my bunkie came back, he told me that our cell was the only cell in the quad that got reception. So now that, when I find out our cell's the only cell that got reception, I'm like, shit, well, if bitch is gonna be using the jack in our room, I ain't finna go to jail for niggas like this unless I'm getting on them bitches. So that's what really, like, put me dead ass into the phone game. Like, I had no choice. So, next thing you know, my bunkie happens to come there. He was at work. He came in and You know, my first bunkie at Charlotte, shout out to my dog Hit. He was from Jacksonville, Murder Ave, you feel me? He would give me the rundown about Jacksonville and shit. But he came in, he like, what's up, bro? My name Hit. I'm like, what's up? My name Frog. Boom. He like, oh, I'm from Jacksonville. Where you from? I said, oh, I'm from Lauderdale, from Davie. He's like, oh, okay. Boom. He like, oh, you gonna like it here, bro? This shit wide open. Boom. He go to telling me. I'm like, yeah. He like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I like that. So then, as me and him are talking, getting to know each other, a Chico nigga walk up, which is my dog, and I can't say his name right now due to the fact he's still in now. But, you know, that's my nigga, though. So, he come there, and he knew my bunkie because they was already there for a while. So, I guess he was finna let my bunkie hold the jack, you know, during count or whatnot. So, he tells my bunkie, yeah, bro, go ahead, handle up. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, and you too, bro. He like, you know, I know you just got here, whatever, but, you know, I ain't no green-ass nigga, nothing, bro. You get on there and hit your peoples up, whatever, and tell them Happy Thanksgiving or what you want to do. Because I landed at Charlotte on Thanksgiving Day. So then I'm like, all right, I said, bet. I called that, bro. I said, bet it up, bro. You feel me? So later on, I tell my bunkie, oh, I don't need to get on there. You feel me? I said, I just want to send a picture to my peoples. So he's like, oh, all right, we could do that. So then, you know, they lock us down for count or whatever. We're in there. He's calling his girl. You know, I'm just in there chilling or whatever, and I'm unpacking my shit, getting my shit right, you know. And then he like, here, Frog, come on, handle up. And then I'm like, nah, I said, just take a picture of me, feel me? So I grabbed a bunch of my canteen. I got soups and honey buns and shit, and I grill, and I sent it to my family and everybody else. And I'm like, Happy Thanksgiving from Frog. So then, you know, we're in there just vibing, chopping it up, getting to know each other a little bit. Because everybody will tell you, you ain't going to be able to live in a cell with someone you don't know. So you all got to bond. Y'all got to get to know each other. So we was in there chopping it up, you know, getting to know each other a little bit. He would give me the rundown about how the camp is. So then count's over with. As soon as count's over with, he go back over there to give brother Jack. When he go to give brother Jack, they call chow, you know. So when they call chow, he like, what's up, Flo? You going to chow? And I'm like, nah, bitch, I'm good. You feel me? Because I got all my canteen and shit. I'm like, man, fuck that chow. You feel me? So then he was like, shit, all right. He said, well, bitch, I got to go. You feel me? And he pulled out like this bomb of like kale because he worked in the garden area and he used to bring back kale, you know, peppers, fucking onions, cucumbers, all types of shit. He'd be eating a red tomato like an apple and shit. So he brought it back with it. He like, boy, I got hot lettuce, which is kale. You know, it's like a spicy lettuce. So he brought that back, put on the patties, the hot dogs and shit. So he went to chow to do all that. Me, I'm sitting there, I'm staying back, and I make me a soup sandwich or whatever. I'm finna smash me a soup sandwich with some refried beans and shit. So, as we're sitting there, I hear an alarm go off. Yeah. And not to mention, when I was getting transferred through, there was a white boy on the bus with me. I was the only other white boy on the bus, other than this one other white boy that went through the reception centers with me. I mean, there was a bunch of white boys on the bus. I take that back. But me and him was the only ones that landed at Charlotte. So I heard him getting like 3 or 4 incidents throughout the time, you know, like as just start transferring. Like I didn't know him. I didn't talk to him. We didn't talk till he landed at Charlotte, you know. But I told him, bro, like his mouth's gonna get him in some shit because, you know, every incident that he got into on the bus or at one reception center, I hear him over arguing. He liked to always tell people, I don't give a fuck, I'm going home. I don't give a fuck, I'm going home. And you got some niggas that ain't going home, you know, and people don't like to hear that shit, you know. So, like I said before, you could be doing 20 years and come home, but then you could do a year and a day and not make it. So I used to tell him, bro, saying shit like that gonna get you fucked up, bro. You can't just keep throwing in people's faces, bro. Oh, I don't care, I'm going home. I don't care, I'm going home. So, next thing you know, when the alarm goes off, I'm on the top tier. I go walk near the top tier and look near the Sally port because he's in the E-dorm also, but he's in a different quad than me. So when I look, he's in the Sally port on his hand and knees like this, gushing. Wet. Straight gushing. Didn't last on the compound at Charlotte for 24 hours. If he's watching this video, he knows exactly who I'm talking about. He didn't last on Charlotte's compound for 24 hours. He got wet. We wasn't even on the fucking pound for 3 hours. He got wet. So I told him his mouth would get him in some shit, you know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, all the police are out there about 20, 30 deep in the Sally port. You know, they got him all fucking hemmed up. He's laying there. He's like crying and gushing. Wet him up, got him off the pound. And I remember thinking in my head like, damn, I'm the only one left now. You know, like I'm the only white boy left that came. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, Yeah, I say the word nigga or whatever, you feel me? But that's what I hung out with. That's who I'm all around, and that's how I grew up. If you come to my hood, that's majority of what's down here, you know? And that's how we talk. So, like, and that's just what it is. And I'm going to be saying that shit till the day is over with. But anyways, so then after the whole scenery of getting wet and all that shit happened, my bunkie and them were all coming back from chow. My bunkie came in the room. Boom, boom, boom. We in there just chopping it up, vibing, you know, bonding and shit. You know, just in there getting to know each other a little bit. After that, you know, we fuck with each other 1,000. That was my bunkie for a little minute, you know what I'm saying? We was in there. They came around like the very next day. It was like not that night. That night went to sleep. Everything was same old, same old. But then the next day we woke up and you know, went to breakfast. And now we're going to breakfast. It's still dark out. People got wet like the first 3 weeks. My first like 3 weeks there. Like I'm talking about so many blind spots. People getting wet. Charlotte is a dangerous ass camp, you know. So it's nighttime and there's so many blind spots. So then you know, everybody went to chow early morning breakfast. Boom, people got wet. People that got to do when it's movement time. So when people got to go to work and go to school, that shit's canceled for the day because the pound shut down. Because how many people got just got stabbed this morning? So then that whole day we were just basically stuck in the dorm. You know what I'm saying? And then we went through one of my most like memorized shakedowns. Like my second day there, they literally like took us. They made us all come. They came to our. They shut all of our water off. They came to the cell. You know, they made us strip down butt naked and all this shit. Me, like 2 in a room, me and my bunkie. You know, made us strip, cough, all this shit. Popped 1 cell at a time, and then made us grab our mat, walk downstairs and go around the metal pole that they placed. They had a pole with like a handle on it that they carry on their shoulders, and they set that bitch in the middle of the dorm and made us go down there with our mat on our back and go down there and walk in circles around it and throw our mat down and then lock us back in our cell. They did that to every cell and locked us in there, and then made us come out in straight boxers with our hands on our head with no socks, and made us walk to the rec yard. They escorted us to the rec yard, and this was early morning. We was on the rec yard all the way till lunch, out there with nothing on but boxers and shower slides with no socks on. Out there like the whole rec yard just full of straight, all you see skin and boxers. You know, we was out there, and then this the first time and the only time I ever seen this. They literally escorted us to go get our lunch wearing that. We actually walked the compound in just our boxers. You know what I'm saying? Which was crazy. It made us get our lunch tray, you know, and then they just made us keep walking. Like they gave it to us in a styrofoam. So we had to we stayed on the rec yard for all them hours while they flipped our dorm. And then they escorted us to the chow hall, made us walk through the chow hall and get our trays. We didn't even eat in the chow hall, and put us back in our room when we ate our trays. And when I went in there and I say this shit looked like a hurricane, I mean, nobody knew whose mat was what. Nobody knew whose blankets was what. Everything was in the middle of the floor and the quad. And there was fucking stacks of mats to where it looked like a fucking homeless, terrorized shelter. You know, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, damn, this shit's ratchet. Like the way they do this shit over here. So then they gave us typical hot dogs that day and shit. That's their go-to plan. That and patty. If you ain't never, if they run out of what they supposed to give you or something, they're giving you ass hot dogs or they're giving you a patty. So we go back to the cell. Our whole shit's flipped, you know, which I really didn't give a fuck because I just unpacked all my shit 2 days ago. So my bunkie's all hot, this and that, you know, blase squaze, this and that. Couple dudes go to arguing and shit because them officers will take shit that belongs to someone else and put it in your fucking room. They'll grab some of your shit, throw it in your room, grab his shit, throw it over there, and make everybody to where a fight breaks out and shit like that. Because when them officers come, it ain't just officers from that compound. It's officers from other compounds in that region. You know, they might be officers at Charlotte that are from Martin, DeSoto, Dade CI, Everglades. So they're so deep. They pull up outside the gate in a school bus filled with officers. You know, and then they got little sections of them when you're walking with your hands on your head, and they're all like, you got to walk like this, and then there's officers, and then there's more officers. You know, they just do shit like that. They're real severe when it comes to that shakedown. So yeah, they found a bunch of knives. They found 17 knives just that day inside my quad that I just moved into, you know, and 9 cell phones. So then I'm like, holy shit, like I'm not used to shit like that at Calhoun. I mean, I'm used to it, but not that much. So now it put me to where I'm like, now I know the type of shit I'm dealing with. So then that was just my quad. Like I said, there's 4 quads in a butterfly dorm. The other one was the same shit. Same shit. Like 15 fucking knives, 6 cell phones. And the other one would be like 11 cell phones, 8 knives. Like our whole fucking dorm was on lockdown for a week straight because of this shit. And that's like when I first got there. You know, so like I didn't really get to, you know, view the pound or none of that shit yet because we were on straight lockdown right after that. But then, you know, so we're in that bitch. They shut our water off. You know, they turned our water on after the whole shakedown situation. You know, you got people in there going psych a lot, cutting herself. When they go psych, that means like they want to harm herself, kill herself, and they want to get put in a turtle suit. And they get brought to fucking C-dorm. So, we're in there just vibing and shit. Me and my bunkie, you know, playing cards, chopping it up. Thank God I had food, canteen, because they booked us on canteen for like fucking 2 weeks. So then, we're in there just vibing and chopping it up. They come around later that night, like 2, 3 in the morning. They pop my door. So my bunkie get up, you know, he look out the door, you know, maybe they popped it by accident, because that shit be happening. So he shut the door again, boom, you know, and then he's pissing. Tap, they pop the door again. So then he's like, man, what the fuck? Next thing you know, an officer comes in. He comes in from the Sally Port, comes up the stairs, and he's like, Harris. I'm like, yeah. He's like, get dressed. So I'm like, where I'm going? He's like, get dressed. So I get dressed. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I'm dressed or whatever. I'm telling my bunkie, where you think I'm going? He's like, man, you probably going to fucking ICT to get your job or whatever. So I'm like, nah, hell nah, bro. It's too soon, bro. I just got here, right? So then he was like, man, this and I said, this fucking early, bro? There's no way it's this early, bro. It was like 3, 4 in the morning. So then he was like, oh, shit, I don't know, dog. Really, now that you think it, bro, maybe it's a physical, bro, medical. So I'm like, okay, maybe that sounds more like it. Next thing you know, they bring me out there to medical. I'm thinking I'm getting a physical or whatever. It's a drug test. Like they slid in a pee test. Like right then and there to make sure I wasn't smoking weed or nothing. So I'm like, damn. So they piss test me. You know, they didn't piss test me the rest of the time I was at Charlotte, you know. But they do come through secretly. Y'all see them come through and they got them little pee cups. And everybody be like, boy, they good. And then that's just the luck of the draw. They just pick who they want or any suspicions or anything like that. But me personally, I never got drug tested again like that. So then they came through, they grabbed me, they brought me up there. You know, I dropped, I pee test or whatever. I passed or whatever. I think they did that just to scare me, to show, oh shit, they drug test here or whatever. So then I go back to the dorm, I tell my bunkie, boy, they gave me a piss test. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what? I said, yeah. He's like, boy, they ain't never piss tested me since I've been here. I said, man, I don't know, bro. They just gave me a piss test. You feel me? So then he was like, man, that's weird. So I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, what, you got caught with Tunchi or so much last game? I said, nah, bitch, I ain't never been caught with no Tunchi. So then he was like, boy, that's just crazy. I said, yeah, I know, dog. So then, you know, the next couple months, I was in there just vibing and shit. You know what I'm saying? They gave me, they put me in the kitchen. You know, they gave me, at first, they gave me, I'm wrong. I take that back. They didn't put me in the kitchen yet. They put me in school. I got put in school, and I was in the school building. I was going to get my GED while I was there. A lot of fights and shit would break out while we were in the school building. You'd be in the school building, you could cut through one school building, like, and open the door and go into another classroom. Cut through that classroom, open the door, go into another classroom. You'd see dudes come in like 4 or 5 deep with knives out. And all the teachers would jump up and call, like, the officers on walkie-talkies and this and that. And they'd be coming in the school building, mobbing like 5, 6 deep, ready to clean up some shit. Inmates will come in there. Bloods used to beef with each other back and forth, east side and west side. They come in that bitch with bangers out and all. Don't even go to school. They'll just come in there 5, 6 deep, like on a mission. You know, like it was just for real. A lot of officers started getting swung on, you know, hit with locks. A bunch of just serious situations started happening. And then, as I was in there, whatever, my bunkie got in his first fight while I was there, whatever. He fought another nigga from Jacksonville, whatever. And he used to tell me, you know, Jacksonville niggas don't even get along with they own kind a lot, you know, because in they county jail, they don't have no TV, no radios, no nothing. All they do is fight. So he got into it with a nigga from his own hood or whatever. Them boys gritted, they did what they did. And then as I'm there, whatever, we go to rec. This is like my it's like my 3rd month there, whatever. I've been going to rec lately, whatever. They got a little football team, whatever. I signed up for the football team. Niggas get mad that you win, and they go to stabbing the other players and shit. You know, like it was just crazy as hell at Charlotte. So then in my mind, I'm like, boy, I got to get me a jack now. You know, like, you know, it's a crazy situation, but you know, it's I gotta get me a jack. So, you know, I handled up, got me a phone, was in that bitch vibing, charging niggas or whatever, $3 to use it for 15 minutes. We in there just cooling it. You know, me and my bunkie, they moved a couple other niggas in because the compound flipped so much from people going in and out of the box that they constantly moving people in and out, moving people out. So then that's when I met my other dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dog Two Sticks. You feel me? I met him. He came in or whatever and shit like that. And then on from there, boy, we was just vibing. This was like a dorm I was in where like we was a unit, bro. Like, we was all vibing and hanging out in this bitch. I ain't meet Shine yet. See, Shine wasn't there yet. You feel me? But this was when we was all like a unit. We was an E-dorm, boy. We rocked with each other. We was all, everything was gravy, bro. Everything was straight. You know, it was just the trenches. It was just like, when shit go down, there's a reason behind it. You know, you got people coming in, twacking. You got people coming in trying to hang themselves, trying to cut themselves. You know, like, you got people in there trying to kill over a boy. You got people just severe, dangerous shit. You know, you walk around on the rec yard or whatever, and fucking there's dudes holding hands and dudes laying down together, tanning and just shit that you don't normally see out there in the open or whatever. You feel me? So, like, it was just crazy as hell. Like, so after a couple months I was there vibing, I decided, all right, I'm going to get me a jack. Boom, I get a jack. I go to handling it up. My jack that I got was just a BMW. If anyone knows what that is, it's basically a keychain that goes on your keys. That it's a keychain. It's a keychain phone. It's a phone that's as big as a keychain. And then that's the one that I had or whatever, and I was in there, you know, vibing, whatever, hanging out. That one there that was my little baby. It was raw. It looked like the BMW medallion, like the emblem. And you know, I didn't have the slider yet, so I was in there hanging out with that one, vibing and shit like that. People would get their phones knocked off left and right. You know, at the same time, I'm like, damn, my shit's so, like, you know, so small, but at the same time, there ain't nowhere to put this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? They know all the hiding spots, unless you pay for a hold down man or whatnot. But at Charlotte, when I got there at the time, my dorm wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's a hot boy, so it's kind of hard, boy. You take the risk with your own shit. So they, one time, we were actually on the jack, and they came through 4 count, and they swore they seen me on the jack, and I knew they were lying, that they just got a kite from somebody, because I didn't even have my jack out. My jack was like stuffed in my mat, and we weren't on the jack that day. So the next thing you know, they come through for count or whatever, and then when they come through, my bunk is like, hey, Frog, boy, the water off. I said, no. He like, yeah. I jump off the bunk, boom. I grab the first thing they're gonna do is take the mat. I grab the phone out of the mat and lift up the sole and the boot and stick it in there and throw the boots under the bed. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that shit don't get knocked off. So they came in, they took our mats. They said that, you know, they told the white shirt it looked like we were on a phone during count time and all this other shit. So I'm thinking like, boy, I know they're gonna find it. Swoop, they don't. They literally did not check the boot. So that was one right there where I almost got that bitch knocked off. So the next thing you know, I was like, man, fuck this shit. I don't need a jack no more. Things weren't going good. All the little females I was talking to, I was arguing with them and shit. So I'm like, you know what? Boom, I'm gonna sell this jack. So I sold that one. And once I sold that one, boom, I just started, you know, just hanging out. Now I was an inmate, getting in the shit, steady fucking getting in arguments and shit. Got to fight with people because a lot of people were saying that I'm the white rapper on the compound, and then my name got everywhere to where like the officers knew who I was. They were like, yeah, that white boy from Broward County, man, Kfrog, this and that. They even had I forgot what that shit's called, a talent show or some shit inside the chapel, and they wanted me to perform, and I went up there and I performed one time. So for y'all watching, I want y'all to know my first time ever performing in real life was in the chapel in prison. I never did a show nowhere, nothing like that. My first time ever performing was in prison inside the chapel. You know what I'm saying? I went up there and I went in and I said, hey, my name Kfrog, you know, I'm from Davie, Florida, this and that. And then, you know, that was it. And then I just, you know, was known. All the officers knew me and everything. And then, you know, which was a bad thing as well as a good thing, because certain officers will let you slide, other officers were on your ass. So I was there, whatever. We had a lot of shit going on or whatever, like a lot of shit as far as like people getting stabbed over owing money and checking in and gambling and the whole nine and shit. And I stayed in E-dorm for only like, I say 7-8 months, and then they moved me down to D-dorm. When they moved me down to D-dorm, you know, that's when they took me out of the butterfly building, and they were like, oh, you're going to D-dorm, which is the open bay. So I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to go to the open bay. But then they were like, man, you know, they were like, you gotta go. So I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to leave all my dogs. This time flying by, boy. I feel like I just got here 2 weeks ago. I done been here, you feel me, for a while now. So then, next thing you know, they moving me to open bay down there in D-dorm. And the niggas in D-dorm, when I got there, they knew Frog was somebody, because I had straight gang members carrying my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had gang members carrying my locker. Like, I didn't just move in over there with my stuff. I had niggas toting my locker. I brought my locker with me, because the bunk I went to, and whether you know if there's a locker there or not, but a lot of them lockers come off the ground. So the cell I was in, my locker could move. I had people toting my locker while I was carrying a couple of my bags. I had straight gang members coming over there with me and letting their brothers in there know, look, the one right here, boom, 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 you feel me? He ain't the one to fuck with. You know, that's my dog. He gonna rock this and that, this and that, this and that. So I had straight love as soon as I got into that dorm. As soon as I got in the D dorm, they all fucked with me, because they were like, okay, some real niggas fuck with him, so he must be that one that's, you know, they must fuck with him 1,000 and shit. So long story short, I know y'all hear that noise in the background. That's the people next door fucking cleaning or whatever. So yeah, I get put in the D dorm or whatever, and then I'm there for a while or whatever and shit. And then that's when like my first couple fights started happening. We started getting into situations. Shit wasn't like how it was in E dorm. E dorm was like more tension with knives. So niggas wouldn't argue as much, because, you know, it's gonna lead to knife fights. But when I was in D-dorm, that shit was more like niggas bickering and arguing, tighten up, and then more fighting and shit. But niggas had knives and shit get ratchet. And it's basically like, if you ain't in a gang, you better do what you gotta do to that man right now, because once them doors pop and he goes out of the dorm and tells his brothers and shit, there's gonna be a whole bunch on the compound looking for you. So then I got put into the D-dorm. Shit was going slow at first. I ain't really like it. You know, I wanted to go back to E-dorm. I used to see my old bunkie and shit at rec and shit. He started sliding over there. He'd fuck with me. He'd come over there, my dog hit, you know, and shit like that or whatever. And it just sucked, because it was like, now you're open bay. You got to share this whole area with everybody. You know, like, you got to, before you had your own room, your own space, you know. And it's like, it's basically like, you know, if you're used to being in a cell and then you get put in open bay, it's hard to adapt. But if you've been in open bay before and then you get put in a cell, you can adapt to that cell life. See what I'm saying? So I done adapted to that 2-man cell, because Calhoun, where I was at last, the Calhoun was an open bay. So I know how open bays are, you know? So I adapted to the fucking cell life. Then they moved me to D-dorm, and I had to put up with this shit over here. A lot of gossiping, stealing, people, all types of different shit. So then that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm finna get my knife. And then I bought a knife, and then that's when I just started testing niggas. Niggas knew what it was. They knew I was one of them white boys not to be fucked with. They knew that I would just rock out by any means. You come with that bullshit and I'm gonna leave your ass stank. So next thing you know, we're in there, whatever. The open bay showers. As soon as I get there, you know, there's people in the shower like 3-4 deep gunning the officers. Like in the middle of the day. Like them officers are straight eaters. They allow shit like that. So then y'all seen it in my video footage a lot of times when I was in the open bays. So I go there, whatever, and then a couple months later, after I've been there for probably like 90 days, I still got all these gang members sliding to come see me and shit like that. Like, they fuck with me 1,000. After I've been there like 90 days, I fucked around and went to the box. I went to the box because they did a shakedown, and when they did a shakedown, they came, and I had pictures of my YouTube channel, of my YouTube music. It was like pictures off of a different account, not off of this page right now y'all are watching on, but off of a different account. There was I had pictures of songs, and I had it in my photo album. That's made it through every shakedown on my whole bid. But for this some reason, they grabbed me and they put me under investigation for it and said I've been on YouTube. So I was like, how? If I've been on YouTube, why the fuck would I have the picture sent in? And I literally sat under investigation for like 41 days back there. And then the way I got off investigation for that is I waited to cause a scene when they came around for inspection. When they came around for inspection, the assistant warden was there. And that's when I decided to make a scene and shit. And then he actually wanted to hear why I was back there. And I told him, man, I've been back here for 40-something days under investigation. Ain't no one came and told me shit. They ain't said nothing. I said, I can show you the same pictures, this and that, you know. And then they brought up the fact that the picture, as well as the YouTube pictures, the picture of me like this at Calhoun, they went to bring me to jail, but I already went to confinement for that at Calhoun. So I'm telling them, look, man, it done been like 18 months ago. I already went to jail for this picture. If you look at my DR file, another camp, I already went to jail for this. So they started saying I went to jail for that picture being on Facebook, not being on YouTube, because it was the cover of I'm a Criminal. And they're saying that, oh, you didn't, that was for Facebook, not YouTube. I said, but it's the same picture. How are you going to take me to jail now because that picture's on YouTube when I already went to jail for being on Facebook? It's still the same picture. You see what I'm saying? So then that's when they were like, they just released me later, like 2 days later. They fucked around and said Harris, and I was one of the ones getting packed up, and then they let me go off of investigation after 40-something days. When they let me go, they put me back in E-dorm. So now I'm like, okay, boom, I go there, that whole shit's flipped. That whole shit's flipped. Like, ain't no one there that was there before, you know. So, but I'm like, fuck it, it is what it is, you know, I'm here, fuck it. So I'm there, I'm vibing. I'm there, but then I guess because it was investigation and nothing else occurred towards my custody level, I'm there like a week. They tell me pack it up again. They move me back to D-dorm. So I'm like, man, what the fuck? So then I go back to D-dorm. I'm like, man, this shit crazy. They moved me there. Now I see everybody I seen before I went to the box. They're like, nah, this and that, this and that. So I finally, boom, I make my way back down to D-dorm. I didn't have a locker at all by my bunk. And I literally went to E-dorm, and the room I was in, my bunkie, he was a tattoo man. I took the locker out of that one and had someone carry that shit to the open bay. Like, and people in D-dorm were like, I ain't never seen no one have someone go to another dorm, take a locker, and carry that shit to an open bay for them. Like, I went to a different dorm, to a butterfly building, and took the locker and had it brought to D-dorm, you know? So, I move in there, whatever, and then that's when I see how ridiculous it is, you know? Then I'm like, okay, boom, this is the spot I need to be at. Open bay's more laid. It's more open, but it's more like sweet-wise, like the police. Like, them crackers, bro, you can see them, you know, and there's so many places to hide shit and stuff like that. So then, you know, they just kept me there for a little while, and constantly I had a couple people check in under my name, you know, like fuck shit. So they made me sign the waiver and shit. I was like, you know, I don't know why they checked in. You know, they said I was gonna kill them and all this other stuff and just a bunch of crazy stuff. So then, after I was there for a while, you know, I gotta read the ins and the outs. You learn how it is, where you can hide stuff or whatever. And I don't really want to get into detail where I hid shit, because that's still going on to this day in different camps. So don't look at me like, damn, that's fucked up. You ain't gonna tell us where. I'm not like that, because literally that shit goes on, not just in Florida. You know, there's other states too, but that shit still goes on. And I ain't gonna be the type to give up no hiding spots. So, but just know they was in there. You know, I had footage to show, you know. If y'all look on my page, y'all see. And I was there or whatever, and then I got in a fight in there. I fought a blood. He was a bounty hunter, which that's my dog to this day though, you feel me? Shout out my dog Tampa Jit, you feel me? If he sees this shit, that's my dog to this day, you feel me? He from Tampa. But we fought or whatever. He called me a pussy ass cracker. I told him tighten up. We went in there, I rushed him, took off on him. We gritted and shit, and then after that, we fought like 3 more rounds in the cut once everybody came back in from rec. You know, they wanted us to, you know what I'm saying, line that shit up again. So we went like 3, 4, 5 rounds. I think we went 3 rounds on that one. But we went 3 rounds or whatever, and that's my dog still to this day. I talk to him and shit on Facebook. But on the next video, I'm going to let y'all know, like, when my dog Shine came there, and I first met Shine, and how me and him, you know, we clicked up, and then we just started getting into shit, like drinking Buck and fucking eating Xanax and Percocets, and you know, we did everything but Tunchi. You know, we ain't do no meth or no heroin or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, like, we got crunk. We had crunk nights, you know, like shit like that. But no matter what it was, we could be starving, we could be anything, and we had so much Tunchi, we would never bow down to that Tunchi. Me and my nigga Shine never fought with Tunchi, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, I hope y'all like this video or whatever. It ain't that long. It's about 30-something minutes long or whatever. But the next time I'm gonna let y'all know when I met King Shine, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? And how me and him started vibing, and we got into shit from there, you know, went from one jack to another, and it was just, it just tables turned. Like, I already had a name on the pound, and then once he pulled up, you know, it was like one name, another name, boom, and it just caused it to where, like, we ran that shit. You know what I'm saying? Everyone in the dorm with us, man, they know, bro, like, boy, them niggas be hanging out. Them niggas about whatever. You feel me? But anyways, man, y'all go ahead, man, hit that like and subscribe button or whatnot. I'm gonna try to come on here more frequently, you know. But if y'all like the video or whatever, drop the comment, let me know, you feel me? And until then, I'll see y'all next time. You feel me? This Frog.